G'day guys, how you going? It's Ori here with another video looking towards Shadowlands. So currently I'm in the PTR and what I'm looking at today is just the initial changes and what we'll be having in the PTR and that will then lead into Shadowlands. So looking at row 15, so Crusader's Might, Beacon of Faith and the Light's Hammer, so nothing has much changed there. However, you'll notice here in the 25 tree, we've got Saved by the Light. Any ally with, Beacon of Light is damaged below 30% health, they get a 3000 damage shield. So that's pretty significant considering now if we just look, so a non-crit from my Holy Shock, that just hit for about 1.2k. Oh, sorry, 1.3 healing. So, and like I said in my previous video when I was looking at the changes coming in Shadowlands, so it does say your shield cannot affect the same person twice within 1 minute. However, I believe that maybe means that, you know, if we get to higher level play or if you use some big brains essentially, you'll be able to use it twice or more by switching your Beacon of Light onto different targets. I've just checked, as I've just checked there, so the Beacon of Light is still down or on a global cooldown, and then, you know, so that is a bit of a meh, that is a bit of a pain for that, but I mean, I don't think it'll really change it. If you can get it to proc twice on different people, that can actually be quite substantial. Another thing to note about this one is that it says will affect your Beacon of Light, so I guess that's saying that it's not going to work with Beacon of Virtue or Beacon of Faith. Obviously, I think that'll just be way too overpowered if it were to. Going along for the rest of the tree of the 25 talent tree, so the Judgment of the Light and the Holy Prism, more or less the same as they were. Same as the level 30 with the Fist of Justice, Repentance, and then also the Blinding Light. So they're just sort of our utility, looking for stuns or CC, depending on which situation you're in. Alright, so then we've got the Unbreakable Spirit, reduces the cooldown of your Divine Shield, Divine Protection, Lay on Hands by 30%, which is always a good hand. Moving on to Cavalier, so increases the charge of Divine Steed to 2, same as always, and then same thing with the Rule of Law, increasing the effect of our Mastery by 50%. Now, level 40 is roughly the same as it always was. Of course, you'll know we've got Divine Purpose, Holy Avenger, but then here on the end we've got Seraphim. So Seraphim was a spell that was in the game a fair while ago, and what it does now, so the light magnifies your power for 15 seconds, granting 107 haste, critical strike, mastery, and versatility. So it increases your stats by a secondary stat, by a decent amount. Now looking here, so if we just have a look at, say, my critical strike, so I have 230 critical strike with a new stat weighting and things like that. An extra 107 on top of that, it adds a substantial amount. In terms of how it works in Shadowlands and how it scales and those sort of things, will yet to be seen. As you see, that's 15 seconds of having far greater, far increased secondary stats. So that could be a big boost, or if there's a big burst of healing or so. But then it's wondering, you know, if you want to then, you know, instead of spending 3 holy power on, you know, your Water Glory or a Light of Dawn, that you spend it on this for the buffs, and then in turn you're getting rid of your ability to have Holy Avenger, which now has a 3-minute cooldown, but your holy power generation is tripled to 20 seconds. So that's pretty substantial, considering you only need to use 1 Holy Shock to then get off a full Word of Glory with 3 holy power. And same thing as Divine Purpose, you know, it's kind of, you know, hit the target, heal the target, and, you know, if you get a proc, yay, and if you don't, it feels bad. With the tier 45 tree here, so you've got Sanctified Wrath, and I believe it just sort of has a tool chip change. For the most part, Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and reduces the Holy Shock's cooldown by 50%. So strong cooldown, a very, very strong cooldown, and that's what Paladins, and especially Holy Paladins, have been known for. Their ability to pop their cooldowns and put out an extreme amount of HPS, keeping a group alive. Avenging Crusader, so this is the spell that came in BFA, and it's basically, so it turns the fact that when you do damage with certain spells like Judgment, your Crusader Strike, 30% of that damage is converted to healing. Now, Awakening is a talent that I think that was added in after Legion, or just in Legion, I can't really recall. However, it's a talent that I have never ever used. So your Word of Glory and Light of Dawn have a 15% chance to grant you Avenging Wrath for 10 seconds. Now this is an interesting one because Holy Paladins can be built very much like you have all your set cooldowns, and then you know exactly when to press them, and then you have certain windows of extreme power. The other way to play it is sort of like the RNG. You could take Divine Purpose and Awakening and those sort of spells and hope that they do proc, and when they proc you feel really strong. However, if you go a full a raid boss fight without a proc, your numbers are dismal and you feel pretty terrible, and you feel like you could have done so much more, but I mean you were just banking on those 10-15% chance, but it might not ever come, unfortunately. Now for the level 50 talent tree. So of course, how could Blizzard remove this from the game, considering it changed the Holy Paladin's playstyle and everything we did? So Glimmer of Light is now a talent in the last row. So very much works the same, 8 targets maximum, whether they're friendly or foe. And it's just a percentage of, or an amount is transferred to healing to those as well. Beacon of Faith are a staple, so just adding another beacon that you can put on an off tank or another person who's going to take a large amount of damage. And then of course we got Beacon of Virtue, which is the smaller sort of short burst beacon where you can pop it on 4 targets and then heal up your group. More suitable for Mythic Plus and those sort of things. Now, of course, I can't believe I've left it to this point in time, but here we go. So if you can look down here, just where my mouse is, you can see we once again have Holy Power. So we've got Word of Glory to use with that. We've also got where is it? We've got Light of Dawn we can use with it. We've got now a Shield of the Righteous, which is now available to all specs of the Paladin. And then of course we also have Hammer of Wrath, but that's more for just with low health targets. So stacking up to 5 Holy Power. So I'll use a Word of Glory there, and then as you see with that Flash of Light, because I'm the beacon target, I get an extra Holy Power. So here with Holy Light and Flash of Light, as you've just seen, so we get an extra Holy Power. So that's really going to help the Holy Paladin in their terms of their Holy Power generation, and then allowing you to spend a lot more. It's going to be a lot more about spenders. I remember a very long time ago when Holy Paladins did have Holy Power, building the Holy Power was the main issue, but then spending it with the Word of Glory and when they just introduced Light of Dawn, it was so weak. It almost felt like you couldn't be bothered with it. But now having this ability to easily generate so much Holy Power, it's going to make spending it that much less of a big deal, and you'll just spend it, move on with it. Of course, just one other thing to notice now that we are in the PTR, there is no longer any corruption on gear. They've removed it for the pre-patch, so it is now gone. So all those hours of grinding for corruption and all those other things, completely gone, completely useless. There's no point. So everyone's back on a level playing field. There's no point in having corruption. So that's just another thing to keep in mind there. Alrighty, so one other thing that's been added that I almost forgot because it hasn't been available to me for so freaking long, and that is the fact that we have our 3 auras down here at the bottom. I cannot believe I missed them. So we've got our Crusader aura, so that's just a speed increase on the mount. Once again, we're finally useful. No. Now we've got Devotion aura, so this is a change to the Devotion aura that we currently have. That is the talent in BFA. So as you can see, it only reduced the damage taken by 3%. So at the moment, I think it works off 10%. In Legion, it worked off 20. So now they're just trying to scale it back, make it much more easy to balance for them, I guess. And also, if you're in a large group or a raid or a PvP battle or anything like that and you're using it, and you have a lot of allies around you, it'll be scaled down to 3 anyway. So there's not much we're really missing, apart from maybe some solo content. And then here, the last one, so the reiteration of Retribution aura. So when a party or a raid member dies within 40 yards, you gain Avenging Wrath for 8 seconds. So this could be really good. I think obviously in PvP, in BGs, it could be really useful. In terms of raid, if there's raids where there's certain people that do have to go and sacrifice, or if they do just sacrifice, if you're happy to sit in that and get the, you know, if they do perchance die or on progression fights or things like that, it could be a little DPS or HPS boost there for us. So really interesting to see how they work, and also to how sort of, you know, people will cheese it, I guess, maybe coming in the future. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Do drop a like or subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that too. Come watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/auraparty. I stream there as much as I can. At the moment, it's been a bit of variety streams just because of the lack of content in World of Warcraft. However, once Shadowlands comes, or if I get into beta, please God, we'll be going straight ahead and we'll be slamming that as much as we possibly can. So love for you to come out and hang with me on stream. Once again, my name's auraparty, and thank you very much for watching. All right. Bye.